Hi, this is Kim with Roving Fibers, and I wanted to show you one of my favorite provisional cast-ons. I think it's easier. I think it takes less time, especially if you have a lot of stitches. It is using the long tail cast-on method. When you are doing this, it is most important that you use a waste yarn, the yarn that we're going to be pulling out to get to our live stitches. Needs to be something like a linen or a cotton, something that's non-animal fiber. This red, I guess, or you would call it magenta, that I'm using, I believe is alpaca. And it has a lot of fibers, so you want to make sure that your waste yarn does not, so that they don't start to mesh together when you're trying to pull it out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a slip knot. When you make your slip knot, make sure that you pull through the working end of your yarn to put on the needle. You have to do it that way to then you can pull out excuse me, that stitch when we are all done. So remember that, please. Okay. As I said, this is long tail, so you have to remember to keep the working yarn on your index finger and the waste yarn on your thumb. Okay, there's my V. I'm going to flip up now and go into my waste yarn and then grab my working yarn. And that is my first stitch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cast on 8 stitches. Okay, remember the slip knot is not a stitch I'm going to work, and you'll see why here in a second. Okay, the live stitches are on the needle. The waste yarn you see at the bottom below those stitches. I'm now going to work back one row. It's going to be in stockinette, and I did long tail, which you're kind of knitting your stitches on. So if you see, I see the purl bumps there. Okay, so that's telling me I need to purl. So I'm going to purl back. If you see the spots on my hands, I'm sorry, I'm painting my studio, so I tried to get the most off that I could, but you know how paint sticks. Okay, so here I am. I've gotten to my last stitch, worked it, and now I am to my slip knot. I am going to take it off the needle. Okay, you just pull it off. Right. I'm going to take a non-locking, easy to remove stitch marker and just hang it on it so that I don't worry about losing my slip knot at all. We're going to do something with this at the end. So now you've got this waste yarn. Go ahead and snip it off. Okay, make sure you leave enough so that it doesn't come out. And now it's out of your way. Okay. So I'm going to work several rows, and then I'll come back and show you how to take it out. Okay, I'm back. So I have knit a little bit, and I have my stockinette swatch. We are now going to go back and get the bottom stitches on our needle. So if we turn our work, we will see a row or several rows of stitches going upwards. They are actually the stitches in between the stitches on your needle. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is get our waste yarn out. Okay, here is my first stitch that's going to go on. Okay, so I have to get this yarn out of there. I'm going to shorten up my waste yarn so that it's not so hard. And then I'm going to take, I use a tapestry needle. You might have something else you like to pull things out with. I'm going to take it, pull it out, and then it needs to come out this way. Okay. And then I'm going to loosen it up this way. Put the stitch on my needle and pull it out. Then here is my next stitch. I'm going to keep trimming this short so that it doesn't bug me. Makes it easy to pull out. Here we go. Now you can kind of tug from the top here. Go into my next stitch. And so on down to the end. Now, here I am, I'm at my last stitch. Because these stitches are running in between the stitches on these needles, on this needle, you're going to have one stitch less. So don't worry if we had 8 on this one, we should have 7 on this one when we're done. Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I got them all on. Now, I'm going to pull my stitch marker, pull out my slip knot, and then just finish pulling out my waste yarn. And then we have working stitches or live stitches on each end. Okay, so maybe it's something you knew, maybe not, but I wanted to share that with you because more and more patterns are requesting provisional cast-ons, and I would like you to have the easiest way of doing it. So until next week, this is Roving Fibers, and if you like this video, let people know by liking it on my page. Okay, bye-bye.